Welcome to the Beginner's Guide to WordPress. I'm Carolyn E. Cooper. This is carolyneCooper.com, and I'm trying to show you how to add images, media, and galleries in WordPress 3.5. There has been a major change between the earlier versions of WordPress and WordPress 3.5 in the way it looks and feels when you add media, and they've now added a feature called galleries. So let's take a look at it. First offhand, media is anything that isn't text and code in WordPress. That includes your pictures, your audio files, your PDF files, your Word doc files, Excel spreadsheets, anything like that that you want to add for people to either view or download. Also, remember, images must be in JPEG, PNG, or GIF format. Those are the only formats supported by the web. Images are limited in size based upon your file size limits set at the server level. This is usually between 7 and 10 megabytes. There are techniques for adding larger files. However, we're not going to discuss those here. And I highly recommend that if you're thinking about using video, that you use a video distribution service such as YouTube, Vimeo, or Amazon S3 service to deliver that video because of the size of the files and the bandwidth consumed. Now let's talk about adding a single image or a link to other media to a poster page. You're going to want to go into your post, and we're in our Edit Post section, and place your cursor where you want the image to be. So I'm going to put it right at the beginning, and I'm going to click the Add Media button. Now, one of the things I can do now is I can drop and drag images in from another file, or I can select files, which will allow me to choose as I'm used to doing from the browser. So let me just run up here. That's not what I want. This is what I want. And I'm going to grab that image right there and say choose. And this is how to add a single image. We're adding one image at a time right now. Now it's uploading the image. You will now see that it shows you what's in the media library. It has added it to our media library. Over here on the right side where it says attachment details, it provides the information about the file, including the file size, whether I wish to edit the image, things of that sort. Let's start at the beginning. First, I may want to change the title. The reason for that is I want to make the title both useful in terms of search engine optimization, which means I want to make sure that there are some keyword phrases in there. Also, when people hover over it or attempt to download it or look at it with, say, a search engine images, they're going to see the title. So let's go ahead and call it something that we want to. In this case, I'm going to call it Margatis as Mycroft Holmes, and I could add some other stuff, and Benedict Cumberbatch, because he's very popular right now, as Sherlock Holmes, because on my Sherlock Cares site, that's very important. I can add a caption. Now, here's one of Carolyn's little tricks. They knew back in the 60s in advertising that over 90% of the people would read the caption of a picture in a magazine or newspaper, even if they read nothing else on the page. Guess what? In the early 2000s, they found out that on the internet, people do the same thing. So I might want to add a caption. Check out more images from Sherlock on http sherlockcares.com. Okay, I've added a little caption. The alt text, by the way, is quite important. Originally created for the purposes of visually impaired browsers, which would read what was in the alt text to describe the picture. It's also given fairly good ranking in search engine optimization, so you want to try and use your keyword phrases where appropriate. And it's also used when people search for images to find images for them. So again, I would probably want to make sure that I used some keyword phrases as BBC. I'll even say BBC Sherlock Holmes and Mark Gatiss as Mycroft Holmes. The description is for internal use. It's not as critical. If I had several people using the site, I might put a description in like, do not use without attribution, something like that. Any kind of notes that I need to leave for somebody else using my site. Let's talk a little bit about attachment display settings. My first option is none, which means it would just set it and there would be no text wrapped around it. It would be there all by itself. The text would start above it or below it. I can float it left, which would mean I would put it on the left and the text would start wrapping right beside it on the right-hand side of the page. I can center it so that the text wraps around both sides of the image, or I can float it right, which means that the text starts on the left and wraps around the image, which is sitting on the right. I'm going to go ahead and say left so you folks can see a little bit of the wrapping. I have an option for link to. I can link to the media file. If you have a very large file, which is obviously not going to fit within the columns of your WordPress theme, and you have a lot of little pictures. Say you've got somebody with a soccer team and you're showing the winning team and it's the team photo and you know that the parents are going to want to zoom in and see their child's smiling face. You may want to link to the media file. Also, if you're doing a PDF document, an audio file, anything like that where the visitor needs to download that file in order to view it or hear it, then you do link to the media file. Or in the case, you could also make it a link that goes to another website. So for example, I could make this a link that goes to Sherlock Cares, and when people click on the image, they will go to the other web location. And finally, I can say none, which will then give it no link whatsoever. So in this case, I'm going to go ahead and link it to SherlockCares.com. I can also choose size. I have a choice. These are set again in the WordPress administration settings. That's been set up. By default, the thumbnail is a 150 image by a 150 image. You've all seen thumbnails. The medium is set at 300 width on this particular site. It can again be reset to whatever needs to be done for a site. And full size is, there's usually a large, and a large, you'll see in a few moments, a large will be the largest size that it will scale the image to, and then full size is the full size of the image. Since this image is smaller than my largest size, I'm not offered that. I'm offered full size, which I will choose. Once I have my title and I have my settings done, my alt text, I've said how I want to attach it, I say insert into post. This will now attach this image to this post, which, by the way, is why you have this other option, attachment page. So, for example, if I were going to use this image in another post, if I had the link set to attachment page, if you clicked on the link in the other post, it would take you to the post that I'm inserting it in right now. But I'm going to go ahead and leave it to a custom URL. You link on this image anywhere, it will take you to Sherlock Cares. So I say insert into post, and boom, it puts my image into my post. It gives me my caption, and I will now say update. And let's go look at our post. And there it is. And if I click on it, remember I said the custom URL? It takes me to my Sherlock Cares website. Okay, that's going to be it for part 1. Come back, we're going to look at adding other media, and we're going to look at galleries. Thank you.